again in the office of the Always Believe House. And we are going to have a great lesson for this Friday. This is your statistics part of Algebra 1. This is your statistics part of Algebra 1. We're going to look at scatter plots and how to put the data into the calculator. So you need a calculator to do this lesson. You need a TI Inspire calculator to do this lesson, or the calculator software on your computer. You've got to have this to go through this lesson with me. So we're about to start rocking and rolling. Gotta let the cat out. Okay, now then, let's get going. On the magical whiteboard, we have what appears to be scatter plots and line of best fit. Okay, y'all have studied scatter plots and trend lines since 6th grade. Okay, so we're going to kind of review this, but we're going to take this with more power today because we're going to be inputting it into the computer. Okay, let me switch this screen on my desktop so I can see what I need to see soon. Okay, yes, okay. Now then, let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, real world data does not always fit into a nice straight line. Okay, scatter plots are often used to model this data so as to observe patterns and trends. So when you graph this data on a graph, it's not going to form a straight line, but it could form a trend. To make predictions based on data, a line of best fit must be found. And your line of best fit is going to have mx plus what? You need to get these two numbers. So from your line of best fit, you need to calculate that slope and you need to get the y-intercept. The calculator will do this for us today. Okay, now then, this is what you remember from junior high. Okay, in junior high, you had trend lines like this, or scatter plots. On the first one, the line of best fit, well, it's kind of high. The line of best fit would form a line where the dots are equal distance above and below the line. Notice the line will not go through every single dot, but try to find the middle of all of them. This would form a positive trend line, would it? Or a positive correlation, right? Because the dots go up. As x increases, y increases. On the next one, the trend line would look something like this, right? Try to draw a line where the dots are equal distance above and below the line. This would be a negative correlation. An example of a positive correlation would be dollars earned per hour. That would be a positive correlation. The more hours you work, the more money you have, right? A negative correlation could be gas in the tank as you drive. What is going to happen to this isn't the example of the graph, but what happens to the gas in your tank as you drive? The amount of gas goes down. It would form a negative correlation. This one right over here has no correlation. Okay, if it doesn't have any correlation, the dots will not form a pattern. An example of a no correlation is, let's say, an adult shoe size and IQ. Your shoe size has no impact on your IQ. The dots would just be randomly there, wouldn't it? It would not make a difference. So your shoe size does not impact your IQ, okay? So those are some examples of a positive correlation, a negative correlation, and no correlation. Now then, what we're going to do on the next one, these are the instructions you will need to do the calculator. I'm going to do 4 of these with you, and you're going to do 2 on your own. Okay? So these are the directions you're going to use, okay? And I'm going to go through this to help you out. So as I go through this, keep your eye on this page, and you will see what you're doing here, okay? Well, let's go to the first part. Okay, now then I'm going to have to walk up to get my data, as I input this into the calculator, okay? Because I'm going to be looking at my computer screen. So the first thing I want to go do is go to my calculator, okay? So I'm going to go to my calculator, and I'm going to click the home button, okay? So I have this. Now then, we want to create a new document. Where would you go to create a new document? You're going to click the 1, aren't you? So click 1 for new document, okay? And I need to let me reduce this so you can let me get this in the screen capture, okay? Jiminy crickets. Okay. There we go. Now then, I got my calculator in the screen capture, okay? So you can see the whole calculator. So I'm going to do one more time. I'm going to go to Home, and then I want to create a new document, click 1. That gives me a new document, and I want to click, if you read the instructions, I'm going to add a list or a spreadsheet, and then a spreadsheet pops up. The first thing you want to do, in column A, you have to label that X, and in column B, you have to label it Y. So with your up cursor button, you're going to go to the top of A. Do y'all see where I'm at the top of the A, my blue box? I'm going to type in the X at the bottom for X-axis, and then once the X is in there, hit Enter. Okay, now then I need to go to my B box. So I'm going to hit the right arrow button, the up button, and now I'm at my B box, aren't I? I want to label that column for my Y-axis. So hit Y and then hit Enter. So now then I've labeled my A column X and I label my B column Y. You have to do that every single time. Now then go down to the first box in your X column. So hit the down button and hit the left. The easiest thing to do is to type in all of your X's, then go back to the top and type in all your Y's. So let's look at the first problem here. I'm going to type in all of these into my X column. I'm going to type in all of these into my Y column, and then I'm going to do the next steps, okay? So I'm going to go back to the calculator. My X column, I'm looking up here at the, it's going to be 1, Enter, and notice you just hit Enter. 2, Enter, 3, Enter, 4, Enter, 5, Enter, and I need to go to 7. 6, Enter, 7, Enter. So this is the easiest way to do it. Do not put in an X and go over and put a Y. Just go straight down, put all your X's in. This will save you some time. Now then, I'm going to hit the right arrow button and go up to the top of the B column. So hit the right arrow button and then keep clicking the up button until I get to the top. So I'm at my first column, first row in my B column, or my Y column. Now then, I'm going to put in all the Y's. So 348, hit Enter. My next Y is 350, hit Enter. And then 300, hit Enter. And then 295, hit Enter. 280, hit Enter. 250, hit Enter. And then 225, hit Enter. And someone is mowing the yard, so I need to shut my windows. Jiminy crickets. Don't they know I'm videoing? Okay, now then, I have all of my columns in. Now then, if you look at the instructions, it tells you what to do next. We're going to select Menu, hit For Statistics, at Stack Calculations, then hit 3. I'm going to show you all these steps, but we're about to do this. Okay? So I'm going to show you through this, and it's going to make sense after we do about 4 of them. So once I have all of my data into my table, I'm going to hit Menu, and then I'm going to hit Statistics as 4. I want Stack Calculations. I'm going to hit 1, and then I want a line, which is Linear Regression. The linear regression is going to give me my M and my B, which is my slope and my y-intercept. So I'm going to hit 3, and then I have to put X in the X list. So hit X, hit the down button, hit Y, hit the down button. Do y'all see what I just did? I typed in X down, Y down, and then just hit Enter. Do not tab or anything. Just hit Enter. And then boom, you get this. Now then, on your calculator, you really can't see the whole thing. If you notice, the top one is 4, so I need to scroll up. So I'm going to scroll up until I get to 2 and then 1. Okay? Now then, I'm going to go down a little bit. Notice I have linear regression. It has mx plus b, and then keep going down. Okay, and this is what we need to see. So my m is negative 21.0, or just negative 21, and my b is 376.7, right? So I need to remember negative 21 and 376.7. These two numbers right here would be my slope and my y-intercept, okay? So this number right here would be my y-intercept. This number would be my slope. So let's go back to your paper. Okay, and we're going to scroll up. What's the line of best fit? It's going to be y equals negative 21x plus 376, and it was 0.7, I think, right? 0.7. That's the line of best fit, and the calculator calculated that line up. Notice that the y is going down as the x goes up, so we have a negative slope, don't we? Now then, predict 11 games. So we're going to write down y equals negative 21 parentheses 11 plus 376.7. You're going to type that into the calculator, and I'm not going to do it for you, but just do it, and that would give you the estimate for 11 games. Everyone with me, okay? It's a lot of steps. It's the first time you've ever done this, so don't panic on this, okay? Going to be okay. We're going to do 3 more of these. Odds are you won't see this on STAR, but it is a TEK. You might have to calculate this out, okay? So, let's go back to the calculator. Now then, the easiest thing to do is just to wipe out the calculator, okay, or erase the memory. That way you can create a new table. So before you do the next problem, and y'all remember this from junior high, we're just going to wipe out the memory. So hit home, hit 2, and then menu, and then you're going to type in C, and then enter. And mine won't let me do that, okay? But you're going to do that. You're going to wipe out your memory, okay? So I'm going to go to home. Everyone with me. So wipe out your memory. So you're going to hit home, 2, menu, C, enter. And that wipes out your memory. Now then we're going to create another spreadsheet. So hit 1. And I do not want to save this. You won't have to do this. Jiminy Crickets. Home. New. Spreadsheet is 4. Okay, now I'm at my new spreadsheet. So now I'm going to go to the next problem. So I'm going to go over here. And we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to put the X and the Y in. Let me scroll my computer up here so I can see the next table. Okay, this takes some time, okay? Y'all with me? So now we're going to type in this for our X, and we're going to type in this for our Y. And then we're going to do a linear regression calculation, and we're going to get our M and our B, our line of best fit. Okay? Remember, this is our X, and this is our Y. Now then, let's go to the calculator. We should have this, right? Click, you're going to go to Home. You're going to click New. Jiminy Crickets. Home. Sorry about this. New. And then I'm going to click Add a Spreadsheet 4. Now then, remember, the first thing we got to do is go up to the A. So hit the up button twice. Type in X. Hit Enter. Make sure you hit Enter. Go up to the top of B. Hit Y and Enter. And then go down to the first column. Try not to use a cursor. Use the right and left arrow buttons. Now then, I'm going to type in my X's. For the 2.0, I'm just going to type in 2. You don't have to put the 0.0. So 2, enter. And then 2.5, enter. Do all the X's first. Then 3, enter. 3.5, enter. 4, enter. 4.5, enter. And then 5, enter. So I have all my X's typed in. Everyone with me? So I'm going to hit the right arrow button, go all the way to the top, and now I'm going to put in my Y's. Put all of your X's in, put all of your Y's in. This makes it quicker because you just got to hit enter. So I'm going to go to the top. Now that I'm going to put in my Y's. So I have 57, enter. Then I have 62, enter. 68, enter. Then I have 75. Notice the Y's are going up, so this will have a positive slope on it. Enter. And then 83, enter. 89, enter. And 92, enter. Okay. Now then, I'm gonna run a stat calculation. So once you have all your data in, remember that instruction page, hit menu. Where does it say statistics? It says 4, right? So I'm going to do 4, and then I want stat calculations 1, and then I want a linear regression. That is not what I wanted. I did not want test. I want 1. And then I'm going to do linear regression 3. And then I have this, and remember, we have to type in X down, Y down. So X for your X list, down, Y for your Y list, down, and then just hit the down, then hit enter. And boom, you get your calculations. We got to scroll up until we get to this, okay? So notice right here I have mx plus b, right? My m is this, so that's going to be my slope, which is 12.4, and my y-intercept will be 31.61. So my slope is 12.4, my y-intercept is 31.6. So let's go back to the paper. Okay, so what type of correlation exists? It's going to be a positive because the y's are going up. What's the independent variable? The independent variable is your x label. The independent variable is the length. The dependent variable is your y label. It's not a number, it's your label. The y label is time. Okay, so our slope is time per length, right? Or the length of the eruption and the time until the next eruption, right? So put next eruption. Using your calculator, find the line of best fit, and it was y equals 12.4x plus 31.6. With me? Hold on, what did we put for the first one? Yeah, I got negative. I did right. Okay. Now then, we want to, when is the eruption on 2.3 minutes, right? So we're going to do y equals 12.4, and then we're going to take the x and replace it with 2.3. And I don't want to do too many screens. You're just going to type that in and figure it out, okay? Is 70 minutes, okay? Now then, the best length right here, this 70 right here, you'll go across, and it's going to be, what, about 3.2? You could calculate a table on that, okay? Now then, the way you would do that, actually, is you would replace 70 equals 12.4x plus 31.6. Notice this will be my y, right? You're going to put 70 in here and solve this for x. So you'd move the 31.6 over and divide by 12.4. And that would give you the length of the eruption. This is brand new stuff. You've never done this before with the calculators, okay? So let's go to the next page. Okay, on the next page, notice we have a table. We're also going to have to graph, a rough graph of this, okay? Oh, fun stuff. Let me scroll my computer up so I can see the next page. Okay, and let me zoom in some more so I can see the numbers. Thank you for being patient with me. Okay, I can read that now. Okay, so let's go to the calculator. And we're going to wipe out our calculator, okay? So home, and I wish I could do this, to, menu, C, and it won't let me clear my calculator with you, C, and then you would hit enter, right? And mine won't let me do that, okay? So you should have your calculator wiped out. Now then, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go create a new document. So I do not want to save this. Now then, I'm going to create a list, which is 4. And what do we have to do right off the bat? We're going to put an X in the A and a B in the Y. So hit the up button. Do not use your cursor. Hit the up and down button. Type in X, hit enter. Go right, then up. Type in Y and enter. Then go down to the first column. Now I'm going to start plugging in my X's. So my X's are 1, enter, 0, enter, 3. It doesn't matter if they're in order, does it? 1.5, enter. I'm just typing in my X's. 2.75, enter. Not dash. Make sure you type these in right, or it's going to be wrong, correct? 2.75, enter. And then the next one would be 1, enter. Am I doing these right? Yep. 0.5 or 5/10, enter. You don't have to put the 0 in front. And then 2, enter. Okay, so I have all my X's in here, right? Now I'm going to hit the right arrow button and go up. Go up. Okay, till I'm at my row 1. Now then, what did 1 equal to? It equaled to 78. So 78, enter. My next number is 75. Not 45, 75. Make sure you type them in right. Enter. And then the next one is 90. All you're doing is typing these into the table, right? 89. Enter. And then 97. Enter. My next number is 85. Enter. And then 0.5 is 81. Enter. And then the 2 is 80. Enter. So now I have all my stuff in the table, right? Once you have this stuff in the table, you follow the instructions on that page, you're going to hit menu. We want to do statistics, which is 4. Then we want to do stat calculations, which is 1. And then we want to do a linear regression, which is 3. That's going to give us mx plus b, right? So type in 3. Now then, right here, we need our x list to be x and our y list to be y, right? So x, down, y, down, and then you hit enter. You keep that F of 1 there. You get this. We need to go up to the row 1, I think. Or row 2. So go to row 2. Go to where you can see the mx plus b. Now that this is what we need. This right here is my slope, which is 5.48. So that's going to be my line of best fit. This is my y-intercept, which is 76.4. Now then, something we didn't do on the other ones. There's a number here that tells you how strong these dots form, and that is R. On this one, it's 0.78, which means it's kind of good but kind of bad, okay? If it's above 0.9, it's a strong correlation. If between like 0.9 and 0.5 is weak, below 0.5 is like real weak. So 0.5 to 0.9, put medium. 0.9 and above, put strong. And then below 0.5, put weak. That means the dots are going to be scattered way apart, okay? So on this one, our R, which is your correlation coefficient, that's in your TEAC, okay? That's going to be 0.78. You've got to be able to calculate that on your STAR test. And that's a lot of steps. We'll review this before your STAR test. Now then, let's go back to the worksheet. Okay? So my linear regression equation was 5.4x plus 76.4. The correlation coefficient was 0.78. So 0.78. The type of correlation would be positive. This is positive, right? That means the dots would trend up, so it's a positive correlation. If it were a negative R, it would be a negative correlation. If the dots go down, your R number will be negative, and you'll see that. Is the correlation strong? Not really. And write down R is less than 0.9. So if it's above 0.9, it's going to be a strong correlation. Now then, using the linear equation, predict a student's score they studied for 4 hours. So you're going to write down y equals 5.4 parentheses plus 76.4. And what would we plug in for the x? We're going to take this 4 and plug it in, aren't we? and then just graph it. I'm not going to graph all these dots for you, okay? The video will be too long. But graph these dots, and you can see that that line would form the line of best fit on that, okay? Let's go on to the next one. So in this video right here, you learned about the value of R, didn't you? That's in the calculator. That is an important number. It lets you know how strong the line is compared to the dots. So these dots would be kind of far from the line. Let's go to the next problem. Okay, on this one right here, this is going to be my X numbers, and this is going to be my Y numbers, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a table, put in our X's and our Y's, and run the stat calculation. So let's go back to the calculator. Wipe out your calculator. So home to menu C, enter, right? Home to menu C, enter. That wipes your calculator out. I can't do that with my software. So I'm going to hit home. I'm going to hit new. And then I do not want to save this. And then I want to add a spreadsheet. Okay, so I have my spreadsheet. What's the first thing we have to do? Hopefully you remember. Correct. We're going to go up to A and put X. And put an X. Hit the enter button. Right arrow, up arrow, Y button. Hit enter. And now we're going to go down to 1, 1. Okay, we're going to go down to the first row of the X column. Now then, I'm going to put all of my X's in and all of my Y's in. The X's are easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I'm going to go to my calculator. 1, not 11. 1, enter. 2, enter. 3, enter. 4, enter. 5, enter. And I'm going to go to 6, right? 6, enter. Okay, I'm going to hit the right arrow button and go up to the first row, right? Now then I need to scroll up so I can see my values on this computer screen. Mr. Toops has more power. Now then we're going to plug in our Y's, and I only got 1 hour, remember? So I'm going to type in 6,500, hit enter. This is taking a while, I'm sorry. 7805, not 02, 05, enter. And then 10835, 10,835, got it right, hit enter. Then 11,230. 11,230, enter. My 5 number is 15,870. 15,870, got it right, enter. Make sure you're typing them in right. 16,387. 16,387. 16,387, enter. So now I got all my table in. Now then, the more you do this, you'll get quicker. Once your table's in, hopefully you remember the actions we got to do. We're going to hit menu. What would the next thing we want to do? We want statistics, right? This is your statistics part of algebra here. We're going to click stats. And then we want stat calculation 1. And then we want a linear regression, which is 3. We want the mx plus b, don't we? We don't want a plus bx. We want mx plus b. So hit 3. Now then, we want X and Y, so type in X down, Y down. Don't type anything else, just hit enter. Do not move that cursor. Just hit enter, and boom. Now then, we want to go up until we see MX plus B. So I'm going to go up here. I got my MX plus B right at the top. Let me go down. I went one up too many. Okay, right here. So at the top right, you want to see your mx plus b. Now then, this will be my slope, and this will be my y-intercept on it. And this is the r. Notice that this is above 0.9 in it. It's actually 0.97 in it. That is a very strong correlation. So the dots would be very close to the line if we graph this, okay? Now then, let's go through and type this into the calculator, or write it down. So our linear regression will be 2,115x plus 4,035.3. Usually you round these numbers to the 10th. Okay? When you get in statistics, you'll probably round to the 100th because you want it very accurate. The correlation coefficient was a positive 0.97. If the dots were going down, that R would be negative. This is a positive correlation because the R is greater than 1 or greater than 0. It's positive, and this is a strong correlation because R is greater than 0.9. If R is greater than 0.9, it's strong. Less than 0.9, it's weak. Or it's medium. Less than 0.5, it's very weak, okay? Now then, using the linear regression, how many will they make after 10 hours? So write down y equals 2115 parentheses plus 4035.3. Remember, I'm not going to graph these. This has got to take too long. This is already too long. Hopefully you're still with me. We're going to take this 10 and plug it in, aren't we? Then you're going to type that into your calculator. Go to where you can calculate, type that in, and that is how you estimate with this. So you use your calculator to get this equation, and then you're going to type in a number to estimate. That's basically what these data Texas wants you to be able to do. And you also need to know what kind of correlation it is, and if it's strong, and if it's strong or if it's weak. I hope you have enjoyed this. This has been a long lesson, okay? Chimney crickets. Okay, this has been a long, long lesson. I hope you've enjoyed this. Remember, you are amazing. You were created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.